Thank you. Proceed to answer the question.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. A very brilliant question. And as I indicated earlier, Oral's mandate will continue even from this first phase of information gathering into the second phase of actual retrievals, recoveries, prosecutions, when the Attorney General decides that there is basis for that. Now, your brilliant question about how I can also continue to support the process. Within the international arena, we have mechanisms of recovering loot, which have been shipped to various, havens and destinations. If you take, for example, what happened to the Abacha loot in Nigeria, they needed international collaboration, and the World Bank was very supportive to help Nigeria recover hundreds of millions of dollars of the Abacha loot, particularly from Switzerland and other destinations. So I see my role as a role that will help. I'm not going to say that Oral is behind me. No, even though the next phase, the Attorney General will be leading the effort. But when he calls on me to bring in the international dimension, facilitate how to work with international organizations to retrieve loot in other jurisdictions, certainly I'll be more than happy, relying on the Nigerian model, how they use their international partners to retrieve the Abacha loot. I think that we can also use that to retrieve loot that is hiding in all manner of places for the development of our people. Our people need that money for roads, for schools, for hospitals, for good water, and we have to help them retrieve their money.
Thank you. Any further question? Please go ahead.
Thank you, Chairman. I'm satisfied with the answer. My second question is, and this is due to, I don't know how to call it, is it brain drain? Our youth and Ghanaian domestic workers who ran to the Gulf have been abused several. We see pictures, we see photographs or videos. Want to find out, do you have any plan or what do you intend to do to stop this kind of abuses?
Well, thank you very much. As I indicated earlier, this is one of the priority areas His Excellency President Mahama has asked me to pursue, how to make sure that we use our foreign policy to create jobs. But in creating jobs, we make sure that we have bilateral agreements and ensure that these jobs are safe, properly done. So it's not just some agents.
Thank you. I'll give the floor to Honorable Vincent Asafua.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Let me use this opportunity to congratulate the nominee on his appointment as the Minister for Foreign Affairs. My question to you, Honorable nominee, is that, and I will try to give a certain background. On the 4th of September, 2021, you granted an interview on Newsfile, Joy FM. You stated that traveling on a private jet jeopardizes the president's security, and that we need a presidential travel policy to regulate how President of our republic travels. Now, just a few days after the President of the Republic was sworn in, specifically on the 17th of January 2025, His Excellency the President, President Mahama, used a private jet to travel to Gambia. He also used the same private jet to Senegal. Now, my question to you is, will you condemn this action of the president, as you have done in previous times when presidents use private jets? And if given the nod to become the Minister for Foreign Affairs, when should we expect the presidential travel policy that you proposed to the people of Ghana?
Thank you very much. The first question is, will you condemn, then when you come to office, the travel policy?
Well, thank you very much. It is important context, and let us not compare, apples and, if you like, pepper, because you just can't compare them. My campaign against the non-use of the presidential jet, which this parliament approved $37 million at the time for the purchase in 2008 under the President Kufuor regime, about protecting the public purse, a cost-saving concern is what I had. That why do we have a functioning presidential jet in pristine condition, and we will be spending 20,000 euros an hour renting luxury jets? That is the matter I raised. And I have the Hansard here, the Hansard of 16 June 2021. I filed an urgent question. And Mr. Chairman, if you come to column 012 with your permission, I'm not going to read. I'm just summarizing. I know that time is of the essence. You see here from column 012, the Minister for Defense at the time, the Honorable Netiwo, coming up with all kinds of excuses that you couldn't even shower in our presidential jet and all of that, which we found bizarre. So, put my concerns in proper context. It is about wastage, profligacy, the dissipation of scarce resources. That's the fundamental concern. Now, in the case of President Mahama, President Mahama is using his brother's private jet without paying for it. We are not being charged 20,000 euros an hour by the celebrated entrepreneur and business mogul, Ibrahim Mahama. What the presidency has explained is that in the initial days of the presidency, they asked the Ghana Air Force to present a report, conduct an assessment and present a report on whether the presidential jet was fit for purpose. The Ghana Air Force had delayed in their submission, and in the interim, his brother stepped in. We didn't pay for it. There was no financial loss to the state. I can confirm to you that since the Ghana Air Force presented its report, I remember that on the floor of this house, the former Minister for Defense told us that he can confirm that the jet is in great condition. And I found that very revealing, because when I was on this campaign in 2021, he was telling us the jet wasn't fit for purpose. But suddenly, under a different president, it's such a great jet which can be used. So we are glad that there's been a U-turn. The Honorable Netiwo has confirmed that the jet is in good use. And I can confirm that President Mahama has since resumed the use of the Falcon 900 EXE, Ghana's presidential jet. Now, on the second aspect of your question about the travel policy, this is a matter that I feel strongly about. And if given the opportunity to sit at cabinet, I will propose that Ghana formulates a presidential travel policy. If you take the United States, for example, when the president uses Air Force One campaigns for private use, American taxpayer. So every campaign, they have an independent committee that monitors if you use the presidential jet for private business, private fundraising, for campaigns, you pay back the fuel, the cost of using it, and all of that. So, and then they also have clear guidelines on who can use those jets and how it should be maintained and all of that. We don't have that. So it is important to pursue that policy. And I can assure you that I remain committed to it. And I think that it is time for Ghana to have a presidential travel policy.
Any further question? But remember, you asked 2 in 1 question. Condemnation
I actually
and
have a follow-up.
policy.
I have a follow-up.
You have a follow-up?
Yeah, I have a follow-up.
Very well.
Honorable nominee, granted that His Excellency the former President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo engaged in wastage and profligacy, in your own words. On the 29th of March, 2021, while you were paying tribute to the former president of Tanzania, President John Magufuli, on the floor of Parliament, you praised him for placing a ban on what you term frivolous foreign travels by government officials. Frivolous foreign travels by government officials. And if my memory serves me right, you made a post on Facebook allegedly saying that President Magufuli was flying in economy, which turned out not to be true. But now, as a foreign affairs minister...
Please, for the record, I've never put out such a post. Never. I only paid tribute to Magufuli in Parliament. I didn't talk about economy travel. Just for the record, Mr. Chairman.
Nominee, that should be your answer. So allow him to finish asking the question.
Honorable nominee, I'm suggesting to you that you made a Facebook post. And in that Facebook post, you indicated that President Magufuli has been flying in economy, and for that matter, other African countries should also learn from him. Now, as a foreign affairs minister, obviously you will be engaged in a number of travels, specifically outside the country. And I am informed that foreign affairs ministers travel on either first class or business class. Now, if you were to make a round trip to New York in the United States of America with Emirates, you will be paying around 250,000 Ghana cedis on first class. Now, if you decide to do business class, you will be doing about 140,000 Ghana cedis. In your own words, His Excellency the President Nana Akufo-Addo engaged in wastage, profligacy. If you want to do economy, you'll be doing around 27,000 Ghana cedis. Would you decide to use economy class ticket, or you will do business class?
The first question is, did you make that Facebook post?
No, I did not. And
he's making reference to contribution on the floor and a Facebook post. And he interjected to say that the Facebook post, no. Is that not it? So now that you have
renegotiated
the opportunity to answer the question.
Agreements
you make
in
those
the
Facebook
extractive
posts?
industry and all
What
of
was
that.
your
Great leader. And
So
I admire
my contribution on
such
the floor
leaders was to eulogize the public President Magufuli,
And I stand
not
by it.
just
I think he's one of
by
the
rhetoric.
greatest
African leaders we've had. And it's a shame that
Having said
he didn't
that,
live long. I mean, just like
I would
Professor
also
Mills,
want to place on record
that he could
when
not,
given the nod
complete
as foreign minister,
his
I shall
term
never ever
and rent
President
a
Magufuli did a lot of
€20,000
things,
an
a lot
hour
of cost-saving
luxury
measures,
jet,
including
even reviewing how they celebrate their national days.
Do that. Please, Honorable Asafwa, it is not the answer you want.
Agreements so you have in the extractive industry and all of that. Now, great leader, and I admire such leaders who protect the public purse genuinely, not just by rhetoric. I am wondering why members having said that, who fly business I would also want to place on record that don't want the foreign minister to fly business class. I'm really wondering what this is rent about. At 20,000 euros an hour and where luxury jet and where they are headed. Never ever. But I shall never ever do that.
Please, Honorable Asafwa, it is.
I can assure you, Honorable Chairman, that I don't care a hoot which class I travel. If we get into economic difficulties and there is a policy that ministers should travel economy, I am happy to travel economy because even as MP, there are times that I travel economy when I can. And I don't see it as a big deal. Indeed, when I met the Venerable Dr. Obeda Samwa, he told me that for the first 7 years, in the heady days of the revolution, as foreign minister, he was flying economy. Didn't take anything away from him. So I really don't care. If there's a policy that let's fly economy. And don't forget that even about cost-saving measures, sometimes it depends on the airlines. As minister, I'll be interested in cost-saving measures. So if there is a travel, it is not only the class that you travel that you can save money. Even the airlines, can KLM take you there cheaper? Can Africa World or Delta or Kenya Airways or Ethiopian Airlines take you there cheaper? Give me the options and let's look at what is in the national interest. Then size of delegation. I can assure you that what we saw in the recent past, where more than 300 people can claim to be going for a COP27, President Mahama would not tolerate that. So even size of delegation, you can all decide to fly economy. But if you pack 1,000 people, 1,000 officials that you are flying economy, you haven't saved the country anything. So we should be more nuanced about these discussions. It's not as simplistic as it's being presented.
I recognize the minority leader on a follow-up question. No, it's okay. Very well, he said it's okay. So, Honorable Asafwa, your second question.
I would have wished that I would have another follow-up question, but it's fine. Let me ask my second question. Honorable nominee, you should be very familiar with the struggles of members of parliament, especially since the inception of the Fourth Republic. The struggles that they go through with many aspects of their work and life, especially with transportation. You and I are not Accra boys. We all came from our various regions and came to Accra. And so obviously, when you are elected as a member of parliament and you get to Accra, there are issues of transportation for members of parliament. Now, in the 8th Parliament, in spite of these glaring difficulties that are faced by members of Parliament...
Honourable Member, your question, please.
Honourable Chairman, with the greatest of respect, just 30 seconds to lay a background. It's not offensive, respectfully. I'm doing so...
You call this a 30
on behalf
seconds?
of the people of Ghana, so I beg you, respectfully. In spite of all these difficulties that colleagues go through, you vehemently oppose the grant of car loans to members of parliament. Now I have in my hand a report by the City Newsroom dated the 10th of July 2021. And that publication, the headline that I have in my hand says that government must stop facilitating MPs' car loans. government must stop facilitating MPs' car loans. Now, did you, as a member of parliament at the time, receive a car loan? And if yes, did you purchase a vehicle with that money?
So, Honorable Asafwa, I want to get the question clear. The City News, how is it attributed to the nominee before us? Because the author definitely is City News.
Especially Honorable Nominee, Honorable Chairman, I made mention of the fact that the Honorable Nominee made a statement which was captured by City News, attributed to the Honorable Nominee, which is the Honorable Ablakwa. So it is a statement that is attributed to him to have said that government must stop facilitating car loans for members of parliament.
Honorable Asafwa, the difficulty that I have is that City News attributed something to Honorable Ablakwa. Now, you are assuming
I said he granted
that
an interview.
once the City News have done that, he is the author of this document. So you need to, first of all,
allow him to respond.
find out from him whether he is responsible for making that particular statement. And you proceed to ask your question.
Very much so. So my first question to you, Honorable Nominee, did you make that comment in an interview that you granted to City News? And if yes, did you receive the car loan? And did you also use that money, if indeed you received it, to purchase a car?
Well, thank you very much for that question. I'm very happy that you bring this up. And I have always maintained that we need to review the car loans arrangement for members of parliament. I am not saying that members of parliament should not be entitled to cars provided for by the state. But the model, how it is done, government going for a loan for MPs, which is then deducted from their salaries. Our colleagues in the executive, our colleagues in the judiciary, there's a car pool where you have access to those cars. And then when you are done with your term or you are being moved to another place, it is left behind for the next person. So I was advocating for a different model because this model, this approach, did not sit well with the vast majority of Ghanaians. And that is a position that I still maintain. Why do we have different regimes? Those who serve in the executive, those who serve in the judiciary, they have a different regime. Nobody is going for a loan for them. There's a car pool where you can access vehicles for use. And then those in the legislature have a different arrangement. That is what I was opposed to. Now, the second leg of your question. Yes, I received the funds, but I didn't use it for a Land Cruiser. I used it to buy a combined harvester for the rice farmers in my constituency. And the records are there. So you can check that for yourself.
Well, I have a follow-up question.
Any further
I have
question?
a follow-up question. You were advocating the model of granting car loans to members of parliament, in your own words. In another breath, you say that you took the funds, you took the car loan, and used it to purchase for a combined harvester. Where is the principle? Something that you advocate against? Something that you advocate against? You go ahead to take it. My question to you, did the farmers pay back that money to you?
Honorable Nominee, the question overruled. Please go ahead and ask another question.
My last question to you, Honorable Nominee. I have had the opportunity to listen to you a number of times, and one of them, I shared a platform with you on TV3. In that interview, you had an opportunity to make a presentation to the people of Ghana, about 30, 40 minutes presentation, where you indicated that there is a supposedly $84 billion. That is a culmination of a number of corruption scandals that, in your estimation, you think that Oral need to pursue that amount of money, $84 billion. Inclusive of that allegation is a drip component that you mentioned. I was a deputy minister for local government, and there was a contract between DACF and JA Plant Pool. Now, as part of the 84 billion, you included in that 84 billion that there is an aspect of it which is a drip component, that you have included it as part of corruption scandals. Now, the contract amount of that drip contract is about $173 million. Now, with that $173 million that you have included in the $84 billion that is supposed to be, as it were, collected, or take that for the people of Ghana, how is that a corruption scandal, or how, in your estimation, how is that termed as corruption in your own definition?
Thank you very much. We'll take a short break for just 5 minutes whilst we remain seated.
Thank you.
You have the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, let me begin by congratulating the Honorable
Tell me, is this thing on now? been working long like a marathon now. Tying up words, making them a bomb now. Tell me, who's gonna be alone now? I got a message when they put it in a song now. I'll see you later, all the haters got it wrong now. We're touching the lightning, we're coming alive, yeah. We're feeling inside it. We got the power.
Time 300, where power meets elegance. Call us on 0501 772222 or 0501 773333.
Step up with DSTV and we'll show up by giving you more incredible entertainment.
Going to have a little fun.
Upgrade your subscription between the 13th of January and the 31st of March and get an even higher package for a whole month on us.
Buckle up, here we go.
There's nothing better than putting a little bit in but getting a lot out.
Time to boost some office morale.
Incredible!
If you want to build a future, you gotta know what you want.
Step up and we'll show up on your home of entertainment, DSTV.
Great music, excellent service, great company, and meat galore. The Alisa Friday Barbecue. It's fun on Fridays at Alisa.
One upgrade is nice, but a double upgrade is amazing. And that's how we do it. Upgrade today to get even more with Step Up. If you're on GoTV Max and upgrade to GoTV Super, you'll get way more with GoTV Super Plus.
That's so cool!
Get big value. Get big entertainment.
Very good.
Perfect! Upgrade and get even more with GoTV.
Yeah.
GoTV. Love it.
Which is clear abuse of the law, a clear violation. Then also the pricing. I discovered that the unit price for the drip equipment were outrageous. Because what I did as part of my oversight work was to send an email to the company and to ask for quotations. And when those quotations arrived, it was clear that in some instances, some of the equipment had been doubled, the value of those equipment. So the conservative estimate from the oversight work I did is that Ghana could have obtained those drip equipment if we did it competitively and there was competitive pricing without the inflationary pricing that took place. We could have got them for about $75 million and not the $187 million that we were billed with. And I still maintain that Ghana did not receive value for money so far as the drip project is concerned. And finally, let me say that I found the Vice President's conduct in this affair quite problematic. In opposition, he was vehemently opposed to single sourcing, and he did put out consistently posts that single sourcing.
Said the Vice President.
Yes, the former Vice President. Former. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Former Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, who says that he is the drip champion. He says this whole drip thing is his idea. That's what he told the country. And he indeed asked all those who were trying to take credit, including members of parliament, to back off, that it is his idea. In the course of my oversight work, I found his conduct not consistent with what he promised the people of this country, that he will make sure that projects are competitive, that sole sourcing, inflationary pricing will be a thing of the past. It is regrettable, to say the least, that he was not consistent. And when he had the opportunity with this, his flagship DRIP initiative, he departed from what he assured the nation he will do as Vice President. So those are the concerns that I have about DRIP, and I am hoping that Ghana will be able to retrieve some money. Fortunately, only 25% has been paid. Not all the liabilities have been met. So I have encouraged the new Mahama administration to renegotiate the DRIP initiative so that we can save money, because my conservative estimate is that it's been inflated by more than $100 million. And there is a need to save money. $100 million can do so much for an IMF bailout country. There's so much that we can do with $100 million. And I'll encourage my colleague, the Honorable Asifwa, to get close to me. I can share some of the work we have done on this with you. And when you see yourself, I'm sure you'll become an advocate. You'll join me that we should renegotiate the DRIP intervention.
Thank you very much.
I have a follow-up question.
You have a follow-up? Yeah. On the $84 billion, as you said, that he is saying it is 18 billion cedis, and the DRIP.
The follow-up stems from the fact that, one, he indicates that the pricing, in his own words, was outrageous. And it was inflated. And he has done some work, and because of that, in his estimation, the pricing was indeed outrageous. Now, he said he has done some work, and I have also done some work, and I'm happy to share that with you. Honorable nominee, in my hands here is the contract itself, and maybe I'll go into specifics. Government bought a tipper truck for $78,000. So if you say it was outrageous, inflated, now the big question is, what is the market value for such an amount? Now I will take you to Zonda. Zonda is one of the well-noted agencies who sells tipper trucks.
Honorable Asafwa, with all due respect,
my question
he said he has done some work.
And he said it's
outrageous. And you have done some work.
Yes.
Now, the amount being outrageous was based on the assessment of the work that he has done, but not your own. So the way you are going about the question, that is what is calling for worry.
Honorable
because
Chairman,
the work that you have done is not the same as the work that he has done.
Honorable Chairman,
your indicators may not be the same as his indicators.
Respectfully, I am saying that in the contract, government bought a tipper truck for $78,000. I am also referring the honorable nominee to Zonda, an agency that deals in tipper $2,000 or $83,000. And government bought a tipper truck for $78,000. With this background, how do you term this as outrageously inflated contract? Because I don't see it.
Well, I don't know whether Zonda is the cheapest in the world.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, clearly my good friend, the Honorable Asifwa, has to do more work. As for this work he has done, with all due respect, it leaves much to be desired. For Zonda's trucks, they pay duties. You imported your trucks free of duties. I did an RTI request, and I asked the DACF administrator, did you pay duties on the trucks? They said no. Zonda is importing their trucks, paying duties. So of course, you are not. I keep talking about comparing apples with pepper, and it has to stop. Then when you talk about we bought tipper truck, there are many types of tipper truck. What kind of model? Which year? What are the specs? So, Mr. Chairman, with all due respect, the oversimplification of matters it's not helpful. And I am willing and ready to submit the work that we did. I say procurement breaches, no value for money, inflationary pricing, and it's a fact. I'm so convinced that Ghana could have saved $100 million. And you should stop comparing vehicles that have been imported with duty and those that you are buying without paying duties. It's not helpful, Mr.
Thank you very much. The questioner said he is also involved. Are you involved?
With the greatest of respect, Chairman, please let me be.
Recognize Honorable Shaibu.
Chairman, let me thank you very much for the opportunity. Sami, congratulations.
Thank you very much, my good brother, who supplies me smokes.
Sami, a well-deserved nomination. I wish you very well in this new role. Sami, let's move away from this corruption, oral, and whatever, and get to Pan-Africanism, so that you can cool down a bit. A movement that has come to stay. A movement that has taken the whole world. I note that in the last 2 hours, you have mentioned Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. Tell us briefly, don't go to your involvement. What's your motivation on Pan-Africanism? Thank you.
Pan-Africanism is the only way the African continent can be liberated. As the Osagifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah said, nobody will care about our fortunes and our destinies more than ourselves. The reason why we are the most endowed continent in terms of resources, and yet we are the poorest, is because we have not taken control, the commanding heights of our economy, as President Achampong would say. The Pan-African agenda is for us to take control of our resources, to chart our own path, not to be pawns, not to engage in proxy wars with others. That is the key to our emancipation and our liberation. And I see in President Mahama a leader who believes in Pan-Africanism. And if you look at his priority areas, even the first countries he has visited, as president, he's yet to go to Europe or Asia or anywhere. It should tell you immediately, where his priorities are and how he remains committed to the Pan-African agenda. And to conclude practically, we should take a second look at our negotiation skills and abilities as a people. And it's one area that I'll be seeking the assistance of experts to beef up capacity at the foreign ministry. You look at a lot of agreements that we get into, and it's clear that we could have gotten a better deal if we had really put Pan-Africanism at the center, looked at the continent's interests, and subjected all other secondary interests, out of the window. We can then get better. And I don't want to go into specifics because of how sensitive these matters are, but really at the core of our retarded development is the fact that we have not really imbibed, the philosophy of Pan-Africanism as the likes of Du Bois, Kwame Nkrumah, Padmore, and others espouse. And I think that the time has come for us to really trace our roots, to genuine Pan-Africanism.
Thank you very much. Any further question? Then I proceed to give the floor to Honorable Jerry Shaib.
Honorable nominee, congratulations. Very well done. Before asking the question, I've made an observation. I just want to run by you. First of all, I've watched you over the period, and I think you have grown very well. And I also think that people have watched you, and you've done very well for yourself. Save that today, before the process started itself, my observation was that you were a bit upset, and throughout the vetting process, you've also used a word like, I don't give a hoot, which I do not think that for a diplomat, you should be seen to be using such words. It's a general observation. And if I do not like you, I won't tell you. Now to my question. I feel that Russia currently has presence in the region, in the region. And the strategies Russia use include the social media propaganda and cyber terrorism. Several media houses have reported cyber attacks to their online portals, which were traced to Russia origin. What's Ghana's foreign policy in reference to Russia wanting to have regional control or influence? And especially against the backdrop that my foreign minister nominee has been in Russia recently to help His Excellency the President launch a book on my first coup d'etat.
Well, thank you very much. And your foreign minister nominee has also been to the United States recently, has been to France recently, has been to the United Kingdom recently, and has been to Ukraine recently. I would like to proceed with caution that I do not think that, looking at how sensitive this role is and how, our foreign policy, which enjoins us to pursue positive neutrality, to be friends of all and enemies to none, I do not want to single out any country in this engagement for condemnation, for obvious reasons. I mean, when it comes from some other people, it depends on how it will be taken. But if it comes from me, even if I'm responding to a question, it can be taken as a position of the new government, and it can create a diplomatic row or a tiff, or even escalate into something else which we do not want. So I will plead that, Mr. Chairman, you permit me to stay away from condemning specific countries. If you want me to answer generally,
permitted.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Any further question?
That is my foreign minister nominee, and I like the response. My second question, I actually had the opportunity of asking the same question to the transport minister nominee. And it has to do with the third-class treatment Ghanaian passengers face. It's a situation that for me is worrying. We are made to pay high fares.
You today that since oral was established, just by the establishment of the team and we receiving information from the general public,